Okay, well, look, this is the very last speaker today, and I think this is the part of the session where we think, what can I do, and what are some of the tangible things. We've heard lots of, from small to big ideas, certainly. So Evelyn's here from the Land Service Officer, the local Land Service Officer, to tell us about what the current programs that are running and where we might be able to kind of help out and get involved. Over to you.
Thanks. Look, I really don't have much to add. I think it's been an awesome day so far, and I've learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure everybody here would have. So I guess it's up to you guys individually what you want to be involved with, from a short-term water, food, and we've spoken about some of the risks associated with providing water and food. So by all means, do what you can, but do it carefully. But it's not just the short term that we need to look for, it's the medium and longer term. And of course, we've just seen a huge reduction in habitat across the entire eastern seaboard. And so habitat will be the most critical thing that we can look at in the medium and long term. So I encourage all of you that have habitat to take particular care in looking after it. That includes pest control. So as Beth mentioned, goats and deer have a huge impact on regeneration, as well as pigs, and then your carnivores and your animals. So think about what you can do in your patch. If you don't have a patch of habitat on your place, but you have space and you might want to do your bit, that's another thing. We will get rain. We don't know how often it's going to come in the future, and I think we'd be foolish to think that we go back to abundant times with rainfall. So we do need to think about adapting our plantings to cope with conditions, but planting habitat is still the number one thing you can do for the long term to help things such as the Regent honeyeaters, if they are still around in 20 years, but all the other things that we probably see as abundant right now that will take a big plunge after this and will need our help. Now, I work very closely with Cape Valley Landcare, and Julie and Kerry are your local heroes for that sort of stuff. So please go and chat to them with anything that you're thinking about doing on your place. You can always chat to me as well. But we've got a couple of programs that have been running in the valley for a while now. One is run by the BirdLife, and LLS supports that heavily, which some of you already have taken part, so you have plantings for the Regent honeyeater on your property, and thank you for that. We are so grateful. For those that might not have it but want to, come and chat to us. The BirdLife planting are larger scale plantings, so we seek landowners that can donate about 6 hectares of country for planting. Basically everything is looked after. It is an amazing community effort. Twice a year, I don't know, about 100 people come into the valley to plant and then have a celebratory dinner that the Glen Ellis Association helps put on. So that's the sort of larger scale, but of course we're aware that not everybody can donate 6 hectares. So Cape Valley Landcare have got a separate project running where we look at what Ross was talking about, planting these individual trees that are really high value. So we're particularly working around the rivers. So if you're backing onto the Kapiti River or close by the river, Cocoa Creek, any waterways, we would love to talk to you about planting individual trees into your paddocks to help provide stepping stones for birds, but in particular provide food and shelter for our Regent honeyeater. So they're sort of the key projects that we work on, but obviously Julie is the source of all knowledge of stuff that goes on around the area, and she's been great in keeping the newsletter or email list updated and the Facebook page. So if you haven't already gotten those emails, make sure you've put your name on the sign-in sheet so you'll be kept in the loop.
Can I? I'm wondering how many people have come today from out of the valley that might be interested in coming to help us do some of these projects. So, oh, wonderful. Oh, because what we really, really want to do is to make it into weekends where you can come and camp, because we're very small in numbers and we need as many hands on deck as we can find. And with any luck, it'll be smaller scale than the BirdLife one, but we'd have something like maybe camping on one property and having an evening, much not as formal, but just to make it into a good experience. And I've even thought of things like people could come and own some of the trees, because it's not only planting them, you can see from that picture, sometimes to water them you have to carry buckets of water quite long distances, and we try not to have to water them because they need to survive. But the way things have been going, we've only had one watering day so far, but a little bit to help them over this tough times. And weeding, we need to keep them weeded, the grass out and stuff. So there's a lot of ongoing stuff. I could imagine a weekend every 2 months would easily be used up if we had a gang of people coming to the valley.
And I think just sort of building onto that, something that we really also need to think about is our own mental health and our own well-being. Now, we're obviously here because we care of people and we care of the bush, and what has happened has scarred most, if not all of us. And so I think it's really important that we need to look out for each other and support each other, but these sort of opportunities to do something with your hands to help make the world a bit better place, even if it's just in that square metre where your tree is going in, it really helps just not feel so helpless and overwhelmed by the situation that is around. So I really, if you haven't linked up with Landcare or with your local network, if you're a long way away and you can't come down here to help on weekends, look for your local Landcare network, look for your wires people to help them, look for your like-minded tribe, and do what you can to help yourself and help others.
So I'm here from Turon Gates. We're just on the other side of KPT, but I can imagine that quite a few of our customers would be quite keen to come and help out and give back, because they're all very nature-minded. And so, you know, probably a lot of the tourism places around here, if you had notices up, and that they were actually letting their guests know prior to the weekends when you're doing it, that, you know, like if I send out an email and saying, you know, this is what's happening, and we can put it on our social media and stuff, A, we probably get some good business out of it, okay, but B, you get like-minded people coming up who want to actually help as part of their weekend away.
Absolutely. And does the journey from where you are to here feel too long?
No, it's half an hour or something, it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful
That's a start.
It's a great drive. So,
and especially on a long weekend, we tend to get lots of people coming for long weekends.
Yeah. So I think that's something, so we're going to have a bit more of a kind of workshop after lunch for those that want to hang around to kind of look a little bit at where the fire scars are, where people are located, and how we can sort of coordinate ourselves a little bit so that we might, you know, talk to our neighbours and stretch where we can help. But that sort of thinking, let's just all put it out there while we chat, and let's take it down and make sure that any idea you have to try and kind of put life into this, that we share it.
And if you can't stay for the workshop,
Email
share your
Julie.
ideas with either me or Kerry or
myself.
Evelyn.
Yep.
Can I just make a general comment here about the entire situation with the fires and the loss of habitat? And we are from Springwood on the mountains. My wife's been involved in our local social network and helped to coordinate feeding stations and the deployment of them, and feeding ourselves.
Yep.
She's finding what's happening now is there's more and more people wanting to help, all wanting the right thing, all very upset about what's happened, and a lot of people, as you said, are quite depressed at the moment with what's happening and not being able to help. And the other night she got an inquiry from a friend of hers saying this person had 400 people from the city that wanted to come up and volunteer Now, for me, as sitting a little bit on the side of that, I said to her, how on earth are you going to manage 400 people coming in here wanting to put these stations out? So, but listening to John before, and I've heard this before, you can't go into the fire affected areas without an RFS certificate.
Yep.
What if there was some certificate available through WIRE's website and also National Parks website, where if people want to help they can, but they have to do the questionnaire first and they have to get their piece of paper. And when they go to do that questionnaire, they have all the information that they need, and a lot of the information that I've heard here today, which is absolutely wonderful because it clears up a lot of the mystery and the misinformation that we've seen. And my wife has had many late nights crisscrossing from different social media chats about what's right and what's wrong on food, locations, etc. If it was all available on these two sites as a survey, they go through it, they research the information, and then they answer the questions, right? And then they get their certificate, it's got their name on it, and then they can approach the appropriate people once they have their certificate, because they can't access those people unless they do. It's going to stop the day trippers who want to come out from the city and, you know, have a fun day in the mountains. Or, I mean, you guys are a little bit more immune from that because you're a 2-hour drive from us and there's a nice 8-kilometre dirt road that they want to get their Renault Megane damage on or whatever. But where we are, we're a 55-minute train trip from the city, and I can just see all of these tourist operators who've got empty buses sitting down there. If you sort of project it forward, come to the mountains to help save the animals. You're going to have busloads of people coming out with no idea what they're doing, with their bags of Featherdale food that they got 6 months ago while they were visiting and going out. You know what I mean? I think it needs to be filtered somehow.
Yeah, I think
qualified before they come out and actually do it.
this is a very similar problem to what some of the human rescue groups have been sort of dealing with. You know, Red Cross has been begging people not to deliver food because we don't have the time to try and work out what goes where and why, and you know, and it's a little bit a similar thing. You know, the poor guys at Wires are going to be overwhelmed by everything. Exactly how we manage it, I think we're all scratching our heads, and who needs to take charge is still sort of coming out of. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little while.
It is a problem for Wires. It's occupying an enormous amount of time in the admin office at the moment because there have been tens of thousands of people ringing up, wanting to join, wanting to do their rescue and immediate course right now so they can come and help all these burned wildlife. The barefaced fact is, like I said earlier, we are not pulling that much burned wildlife out of the fire grounds. I think up at Clarence we've got about a dozen roos that they're treating for burn and feed. There's a few burned green-tailed possums, but we're actually not getting huge volumes of wildlife. The media is playing down that line too because every single thing you see, and I hate that bit of file footage, if they show me that picture of that bloody koala walking back into the fire again, I'm just going to scream louder than I have been for a long time. But it's been propagated over and over again, all of these tens of thousands of animals that have been, they're dead. They're dead or they've come out. And they're in care now, or we're still getting a few roos in the Blue Mountains. So am I. Yeah.
So in relation...
So we can't use all of these bodies. That's the benefit.
But we can going forward.
Yeah, so I think
We can going forward, though.
we might just, we're a little bit short on time. We just before we do have some fantastic watering equipment to show. But I think this is a really great discussion, and I think as you said, Evelyn, it's happening on all levels, and an amazing day. That's the kind of the end. Thank you, Evelyn. Round of applause.